Wealth, yoga, wine. Welcome to my podcast. I'm Valerie Hale. Stop procrastinating. Get stuff done. What's the opposite of procrastination? Decision. Decision taking, decision making. The Japanese actually call it decision taking. When you make decisions, it sounds like this. I decided to. I asked for. I have decided. You don't want to say, I am going to, because that is a future action. It's not a decided action. Bogs tells us, as soon as you make a decision, your life changes. It changes direction, and it goes in the direction of your decision. Now, this is important because many of us allow other people to help us make decisions. The result is not the kind of life you really deserve or you want. So that's a precaution. When you are making decisions to stop procrastinating in any part of your life, make that decision that's going to create the kind of life that you want, whether that's in relationships, a career, a new house. It's important not to let other people into your dream. Now, why do we procrastinate? Because of fear, because people will criticize our decisions, and because we don't have confidence in our decision-making process. Bogs talks about when he was a little bit younger and was working in Mary's company, Mary Morrissey, Brave Mastery Institute. He was having trouble making decisions. He would go to a restaurant with his friends and he would ask everybody what they wanted before he would even order. Now, this doesn't seem like a big decision-making process, but it leads to hesitancy in the rest of your life and decision-making. You're procrastinating. When he would go out with his buds, he would say, well, let's go to the beach or maybe go mountain climbing. Again, it doesn't look like it's a big deal as far as procrastinating or decision-making, but it leads to procrastination. It leads to the inability to take decisions. And Mary says to him, start practicing little decisions every day. Now, when Matt goes to a restaurant, he orders the very first thing that looks good to him on the menu. When he's hanging out with his buds, he doesn't give them a choice. He says, let's go swimming. Again, it's important not to let other people make decisions for you. That means don't solicit advice. Learn how to make little decisions every day, and this is the step to stop procrastinating. Also a way to conquer your fear. Gain confidence. Matt says, the value of your decision is the courage required to make the decision. Meaning, the scarier it is, the more value added to your life. And I have been there. I have made a few decisions with very little support, and it's scary. But I am in a happier place. I feel confident on every decision I make. I don't ask for outside advice. Kundalini Yoga. Hariprakaash did a wonderful full moon set this last Sunday. The yoginis use a gong, perhaps not in every session, but in most of the sessions. If you're not familiar with the use of a gong, I have no idea what other yoga practices do. I'm a yoga snob. I have only practiced Kundalini Yoga for 26 years. We will do a few kriyas, which translates into exercises or a set. When we do these, Hariprakaash will tell us, well, we're going to do the gong for a few minutes. The reason she uses the gong, and I had to text her because I always take a nap during the use of the gong. She says what happens is the gong, and it's very subtle, and it really permeates your skin. It's an amazing experience. She told me that what happens when you use the gong, within 30 to 90 seconds, the gong is into our mind. And I know this sounds woo-woo. Hang in there with me. The gong, the sound of it, when it permeates your mind, alleviates thoughts that don't serve us. And it will infiltrate a clean slate so we can start thinking anew and bringing in new energy that does serve us. I understand that's a little difficult for people to embrace. However, I've been studying this for 26 years. I can promise you it works. Now, I have said this before, pay attention. Kundalini Yoga is using a lot of the language that Mary Morrissey, Bob Proctor, Matt Bogs uses. When you take these two practices and study them, use them in a small way every day, I'm telling you, you're going to be in another orbit of success and happiness. I am including a video, one of her virtual classes that specifically uses the gong. It's really worth experiencing. She does warn us not to drive a car and not to operate machinery because it does put you in another orbit when you're listening to the gong. Amazing stuff. Have your kids do this. Lastly, wine. I'm actually not going to discuss wines. I'm going to discuss 3 really great books that I keep in my collection, and I have quite a collection of wine books. The first one that I use for research is by Jancis Robinson. She is one of the world's top wine gurus, wine writer, just always doing reviews, has her own company based in Britain. She is a wonder. She has written a book, Vines, Grapes, and Wines. I use it for research. Sometimes I don't know how to spell Zweigelt, which is a very famous and popular grape in Austria. I use it for research to double-check my knowledge, double-check spelling, double-check what I know as far as flavor profile. Really great information, though, because it does become technical about the soil, the terroir. She will mention the kind of foods that it's paired with, which is my specialty. So Jancis Robinson, Vines, Grapes, and Wines is a great book. My all-time favorite as far as history is concerned, and that's one of the reasons I was in the industry for so long, for over 26 years, because I love history, especially French history. Wine and War is an exceptional book to learn about the impact of German wars on France. One of my favorite stories is how bistro came about in Petie. When the Germans invaded, one of many times, and they were in Petie, they would use the butt of their guns to bang on these beautiful hand-carved wooden bars in Petie. And they would yell, bistro, 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 which means quick, quick. They wanted quick service. And when you go into a Paris bistro now, you'll see they're all covered in copper because the Parisians got tired of the damn Germans running the top of their wooden bars. So the book is like that. It delves into a lot of history, a lot of anecdotes. Amazing, fun book to read. Lastly, A Village in the Vineyards. Many people think that when they go to France, they're going to like Napa Valley or Sonoma. Vineyards in France are very, very different. A lot of the villages are old chateaus, old stone and concrete houses, not a lot of trees, very tightly fit village, and you have to drive out to the vineyards. Sometimes the villages are surrounded by vineyards. Most likely you're going to be in a car and you're going to go out to the vineyards. However, this particular book is written by Thomas Matthew. It is a sort of a biography. He and his wife stayed in this particular village within a vineyard. Really puts you in the mood and the whole scenario of living in a village in the vineyard. In conclusion, stop procrastinating by learning how to make decisions. Make them quickly. Do not pontificate. Do not procrastinate. Remember, the value of your decision and the impact on your life is the courage that it takes to make this decision. If it's scary, it's probably the right decision for you. Kundalini Yoga, the gong, the use of the gong to clean out cobwebs and to instill new thought processes that serve you. And lastly, I'll include the titles and the authors on the 3 wine books, which I love to read. In conclusion, I am not a life coach. I am not a consultant. I create this podcast on a weekly basis to help hundreds of people in their daily lives with 3 fun topics. On my website, on the podcast, you'll see clicks to their masterclasses. I would love for you to enroll in a 6-week program because this is how I get paid. But they are truly transformation gurus that we all need in our lives. Merci.